Today is January 3rd, 2026. Yesterday, on January 2nd, 2026, Summit Mall. You would not believe. I have good and bad around me all the time. I heard some women talking. That guy that was here on Christmas Eve was breaking. He was the one paying for everything. He's some big drug dealer. They know who he is. Then arrest him. Okay. Up in Macy's. Some women were talking that church scammed everyone. I know they did. And shame on you for falling for such an ignorant scam. Shame on you. Shame on you. Now, someone needs to talk to the Summit County Sheriffs. They know better. They better be playing these fools. They better be playing these fools. On Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2025, I was in Summit Mall when that guy showed up and was breaking that he was the one paying for everything. And if he finds out who's threatening Michelle for telling on him that this whole thing is a scam, he'll take care of him himself. Okay. Well, an officer in uniform said the FBI had got a hold of him. Told him not one of them better be helping out making fun of me for this. What are you making fun of? A drugged up, beat up rape victim they're running a scam on? They already confessed they're doing it to extort money from the government. Made a fool out of a federal agent. Publicly mocked him, even called him a coward. That he would fall for this. And years ago, even said they set him up to be arrested. He was a real target. But they said they were using me as a pawn and I didn't know what was going on. And they finally came out and said it. So, what are you making fun of? Well, some Summit County sheriffs knew better. They said a retired Judge Pete got a hold of him. The one that's not real. Said some attorney's office had went to a state psychiatric hospital and they were willing to talk about her. And one of their doctors was willing to testify against her. She was found insane before. What is wrong with that statement out of the sheriff's mouth? What is wrong with him? And that Judge Lori down in Tuscarawas County said she was going to help his family take everything from her, and that attorney's office finally got some on her that they were going to get her for taking advantage of her husband. Her son Dan bought his farm. They're going to get him. Oh my God. Some guy was walking behind me and Carl when we were walking out. There's supposed to be another judge involved in this. The ones that helped torture even said they felt bad. They found out she hadn't talked to Katie in years, and the only thing she said was hi years ago, and Dave made that mean joke years before the case started. Well, they knew that. Don't let them lie. Recorded line. Told them I had nothing to do with those people. I had no contact information. I had already told everybody years ago, and her and Dave and I talked, that we hadn't even talked to her in years, and we only said hi. And there was no way they would know of his mean joke from years before. It was at Macy's. That guy said people felt sorry for her because she was telling people she was mean. So they were willing to hurt her. Since when do you hurt somebody because some idiot lies to you somebody was mean to him? You're paid off him, and don't give me that bullshit. No, not even a little bit. Want to hear your bullshit. And it is bullshit. And then as we're walking out, he's like, they're trying to make that agent do something about it. Well, I hope he does. Let's see. The one you called a fool that he fell for the stunt of tapes before, June 7th, 23, August 5th, 25, as if he didn't know that they used hypnotic drugs when they drugged her and told her to say it before. He was telling people he knew she was being drugged, being raped before the case started. He let him torture her. Is he a coward? Oh, let's see. The one in either 22 or 23. You admitted the whole thing was you were setting that agent up to be arrested? The guy that you set up called a fool and a coward. You want him to do something about it? I hope he pays me and tells you to fuck off. Open your mouth and I'll arrest you. Huh? Now I want you to think about this. Audrey Carl's real daughter. Okay. She lives out in Sebring. She said one of the Sebring judges was arrested by the FBI for being unfair and for being a corrupt. And the FBI got him. Chew on that for a minute. Now, Carl's stepchildren from his second marriage, Jim and Brenda's children, not his. Deb was 26, married on her own with her own children. Veronica was 16. Bob was, 12 or 13, maybe 14. They knew their dad till a few years ago when he died. They are now in their 40s and 50s, had a father their whole life. The orphan Annie bit is a scam to steal Carl's money. They admitted in a courtroom that even Lester, his stepson, had beat him and almost beat him to death before. To try to lie that he was 15, it was only 10 years ago. He beat a man that was in his 70s when he's in his 30s. Carl said, I'm afraid for my life. If he gets a hold of me, he'll kill me. And that judge said she wouldn't give him a restraining order when we went to leave. Said some officer was down there telling him that I was the biggest liar and everybody's to get even with her. It is illegal for a judge to get even with you. They are to be impartial and hear both sides of the case and be fair. Or they lose their license, they go to jail for obstruction of justice. September 10th, 25, Tuscarawas County Courthouse. Because of what she did, Deb sexually assaulted his other stepdaughter. Sexually assaulted Carl in the courthouse and got away with it. Came up, started French kissing him while he was frozen. And making a big scene and gave him a thrash. He's a diabetic. She could have killed him. In the prosecutor's office, somebody's like, I want her to hate her husband. I want her to have nothing when I get done with him. These people are hitmen for my ex-husband. And some weirdo behind the door as I walk by in the hallway had the right to do those things. No, you didn't. Where those Summit County sheriffs yesterday said a retired Judge Pete called, said he gave him permission to be in her home before. No, he didn't. There's no retired Judge Pete friends with Ludick. It's a scam. Dave hired 2 men on his own. It was some guy named Pete. Not a retired Judge Pete. Some guy. Some guy saying he's a judge. They're scamming him. Someone needs to have a talk with them. See where that other sheriff on Christmas Eve, the FBI said, we better not be caught making fun of her for this. FBI said we'll get in trouble. They can go to jail. I have canceled checks from Lester, Veronica, and Deb, taking over 50, 60 grand, never paid Carl back. Witness 6 grand in 2 months. That Lester right after Father's Day of 24 and June of 24. I'm sorry, June of 25. Laughed that they took enough money out of Carl. They each could have bought a house. He said they took way over 100 grand. I'm sure they did. They robbed him blind. Never paid him back. Beat on him. He said Brenda, his late wife, their mother, when did she get mad to have her kids beat up? Well, she watched and then have Deb sexually assault him like that. And then warn him to stay quiet. She was a sick bitch burning in hell now. Now, Veronica, he had seen her in almost 2 years now. Okay, it's been way over a year and a half. They had bragged that they were going to have her call the VA. She's got some kind of medical license and tell them that she thinks he has dementia and Alzheimer's. We told the VA that. They said she better not. The day she picks up that phone, she will go to jail for 10 years. And she loses her license immediately. You hold a medical license and you say one thing about somebody's medical information without their signed consent, and you verify it was them, it's immediate loss of license and 10 years federal. It is unforgiving. That's how they put it. Unforgiving HIPAA violations for people that hold medical license. Now think of what that sheriff said. Some attorney went to a hospital. Can an attorney go to a hospital? No. Without a signed consent picture ID for a release of your medical information. And that hospital call and verify that you gave them permission to talk to them, that you were treated there. What happens to the attorney and what happens to the hospital? Unforgiving HIPAA violations. 10 years federal for both. And loss of license. Can one of their doctors, where they said one of their doctors was willing to testify in court against her, that is 10 years federal. Loss of license immediately. Now I want you to think how stupid they sounded. Someone needs to tell them it's a scam. And how stupid were they repeating it? And that attorney's office said that Judge Laura is willing to help his children. And they may actually have something on her filing. She took advantage of her husband. I had to take advantage of my husband. Protected my husband. Where Sheriff Cox, where his stepchildren incited Rick to threaten his life, told me to get my husband out of there.